Hello, my loves! Welcome to the Sagittarius season check-in! We are through Sag season, but I always like to have a check-in for all of the astrological transits that we go through, because it's nice to just kind of like round out what we know we learned so we can ground ourselves in whatever we need. It's like every astrological season sort of prepares us for the next one or prepares us for something that's coming. They're all sort of pockets of wisdom that each particular astrological season, Sagittarius and now Capricorn, give us like a certain flavor of wisdom. And Sag season, if you saw my Sagittarius season video, it was about compassion in action and making sure that you are not just open to learning the truth and like really seeing the truth, but that you are asking for help. That's sort of what even compassion in action is not just seeing something, but doing something about it, and not just thinking it or feeling it, but activating according to the thing. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna pull a couple of cards, and we are just gonna check in with ourselves about maybe some final things that we need to hear from Sagittarius season before I upload the Capricorn season reading. Okay. And this is all making sense. Okay, I'm just gonna show them all together because they kind of feel like a narrative that is a part of one story, which is that when we are seeking wisdom and when we are asking for the universe, for the source of abundant love, or Sal, as I've been lovingly calling it lately, when we are asking Sal to help us see the truth and help us to really hear what we need to hear, see what we need to see, and be grounded in that truth. And truth, and what I mean by truth is not just the things that we have believed for a long time, which becomes our truth, but open perspective. Hey, here's a pinpoint of belief, here's a pinpoint of belief, here's a pinpoint of belief that are all true to different people at different times, in different circumstances, in different contexts. And how can we sort of find the center point of all of these perspectives and all of these beliefs, so that the truth that we are seeing isn't just muddled by our own beliefs, because our beliefs are changing all the time. So that means that what we feel is true, what we believe to be true, is not the truth. It's not the truth, and doesn't remain our continuous truth for our entire lives. You know, we change our fucking minds. We change our beliefs. Our hearts are scratched and bruised and scarred by things that push us into new and different perspectives that help us align with new and different beliefs. So our sort of angle on the truth is always shifting and always changing. And if you are a person with an open heart and an open mind, which is the assumption that I make if you are here watching this video with me right now, because those are the kind of people that I magnetize, are open-hearted, open-minded people, then you are probably of the mind that I am always growing. And that means being open to other truths and other beliefs and other perspectives that are different from my own, that I can still say, okay, I can see how that could be true for you, and that changes what is true for me a little bit. That changes how I react and respond to you and to other people, because now that I know that our truths are not the same, it brings about this third truth, which is we all go through shit that hurts us, that heals us, that makes us who we are. And what compassion is witnessing this suffering in others and in yourself and doing something about it. And sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is see that ultimate truth, which is that everybody's going through shit. Shit is continuing to happen, and everybody's in a perpetual state of healing from that shit. Everybody's in a perpetual state of evolving, and some of us do it at a much slower rate than others. We call that a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Somebody who isn't quite present with their growth or with the evolution that the source of abundant love provides for us, just by virtue of, again, the astrological seasons changing, the moon, going through different phases, and just shit happening in our lives, moving us and trying to push us into new ways of being. Some of us are not as open. Some of us are fixed mindset people, but that doesn't mean that there is zero growth happening or zero change happening. It just means that it's happening at a much, much slower rate. And as I'm saying this, I'm like, ooh, I know that I'm channeling right now, because in the back of my mind, I have identified my dad as somebody who is a fixed mindset and does not and will not change or grow. And yet I have to acknowledge that he does, and he has, and he will continue to grow, just at a different rate, just at a much slower rate than myself and other people who are changing on purpose. So I say all that to come to this wrap up, which reminds us that as we connect with those truths, we get to not just evolve within ourselves, but evolve the world that we are creating. Evolve in the creations that we are gifting the world with. We are not just creations. It's sort of like, if you think about cells, how they are destined to divide and divide and divide and make new cells. That's what we are. We are that. It feels like we are individuals because capitalism and white supremacy have made us feel this way. But we are not just individuals. We are all capable of working together, and we are all capable within ourselves of multiplicity and creating new things that are pieces of ourselves. Being compassion in action is acknowledging that we are not just individuals. We are not just creatures that are floating through the void, never bouncing, never breaking off pieces, sending them out into the world. Compassion in action is recognizing that we all have a story, and then that story creates ripple effects. That story compels us and inspires us to make something new that makes us feel powerful and like we are more than just an individual. And in Sagittarius season, it really feels like we have, Sagittarius is symbolized by the, I think it's not a centaur, but yeah, a centaur archer. And I always think of that arrow as like the singular individual coast, like I said, riding through the void that we think we are. And yet, when we have that spark of creativity, when we have that spark of me being compassionate to myself, is going to lead me to create something that has a ripple effect, then the arrow isn't just an arrow, it's an arrow that's lit on the end, and wherever it goes, it inspires, it radiates this warmth, this glow, and wherever it lands, there's going to be that warm spreading of inspiration and creation. Like creation is very often symbolized by fire, because when we think of humans, our first recorded creation was fire. So if you take that spark with you, then what you get in Capricorn season and every season after, if you have used this time to acknowledge how much you affect other people and how much your creations mean to you, and you continue to act in accordance with that alignment with your own path and your own, that sort of a launching effect that you feel through passion, through purpose, toward whatever it is that you love, then that is going to continue to serve you. And this is sort of like a confirmation of when I said in the previous video, open yourself. I open myself now to receiving truth in ways that I haven't heard it before, but allow me to understand it and to see new perspectives and to open me up to that source of abundant love, which is me, which is everything. If you did that, if you made that affirmation, you spoke that affirmation aloud, like somebody commented on that video. Thank you so much, Kai, for writing that out for us. If you spoke that, then what you are seeing is that the universe has been sort of raining wisdom and even abundance into your lap, into your palms. Only open palms can receive. I just said this in another reading with somebody else the other day. I just did an event called The Wandering this weekend, and my mom attended, and it was so great that I got to give her a reading. And I made the analogy of, if you're holding on to something, if you're holding on to your own beliefs about when you're supposed to retire or when you're allowed to retire, when you're holding on to things that make you feel secure, like jobs that you don't really want to stay at anymore, or relationships that aren't really making you feel safe enough to be yourself and to express yourself and be honest, when you're holding on to those, you have closed fists. And the message that we needed to hear in Sag season is, you can't pull back an arrow with closed fists. You have to be open palmed so that you can receive, so that you can continue to reach for the next tool and the next resource that the universe, that the source of abundant love gifts you with, so that you can use it right away. If you continue to stay open, this is the wrap up here. If you continue to stay open, even if you didn't watch the Sag season video, this is the message. If you continue to stay open, then not only will you receive a whole lot, not only will you receive so much more than you could ever hope for, but you will also begin to see things from that compassionate perspective, and you will be able to show up kinder. You will be able to show up so much more just aligned with the activation of kindness and the activation of respect and the activation of honesty and the activation of bravery that encompasses compassion in action. I think I'm going to pull one card from my Affirmations deck and just see if there's something that, for those of you who didn't necessarily see the Sag season video and you're just watching this for a quick recap before heading into a recap before Cap season. This is for you so that you can sort of have that like quick initiation into what the Sag season energy is. And here's that spark. Here's that light that I was talking about. And the affirmation is, I accept that good things come easily. Palms open. I am a super attractor. And this is from my super attractor deck, which I love and has such beautiful watercolor images on it. And I hope that you take this as an affirmation and maybe sit with that for a day or two before you watch the Capricorn season card reading video, which is going to be coming out the day after this video is released. Sit with that for a day or two and give yourself time and space to not just like wrap things up and tidy up a project, because that's how we treat so many things, but to wrap up in the sense that, okay, there is a beginning and ending to everything, and every ending is also the initiation into a beginning. What am I beginning to allow for myself when I become more open? What do I allow for myself when I accept that things can be easeful, which is such a kind thing to think for myself, to believe for myself? How can I continue to apply that compassion in action and still remain open and still continue to accept that what I'm seeing is a truth that will help me be more compassionate? I know that you are already so compassionate. The people watching this video are naturally empathic, and that means that you have probably a long way to go before you can maybe separate your energies from other people's, which is a very compassionate action. And you have a long way to go in distinguishing what compassion for yourself looks like, because probably your empathy has made you compassionate toward others for so long that it's possible, as I've been talking about compassion a lot, that the compassion fatigue has maybe washed over and has made you feel like, oh, but I'm so kind and compassionate and respectful toward other people all the fucking time. And maybe there isn't like a big voice. Maybe there's a little voice that's pouting about that, and that's okay. It's perfectly natural, actually. It's a phenomenon that empaths experience a lot, that therapists experience a lot, is naturally witnessing other people's suffering is draining. And then to do something about it, also draining. So I hope that as whatever experience, whatever kind of spot on the scale that you are between like feeling like you want to become more compassionate or feeling like you need to turn your compassion toward others off for a little bit and maybe direct it in toward yourself, whatever part of that spectrum that you're in right now, I hope that you can take this openness with you and you can remain open to receiving any guidance that you need toward seeing the truth of what is going to feel better as you continue on this compassionate action journey. I love you so much. I'll see you for the Capricorn season video. Pew, 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 pew. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for giving this time to yourself. Wow, how wonderful and compassionate that was of you. I love you so much. You are deserving of all the love you desire, and I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day. Mwah! Mwah, mwah, mwah!